Good morning. The sun is just coming up over the barn, or through the barn. You silly cows. Did you smile? Hi everyone, welcome to Acres of Clay. If you're new to my channel, I am Rhonda. My husband and I, we own and operate a dairy farm here in West Michigan. West Michigan isn't really a town, it's just the western part of the mitten. So if you're looking at the mitten, because we live in Michigan, which is the mitten state, we're down here towards the west, towards Lake Michigan. So that's why we call it West Michigan. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and liking this video, sharing it with your friends. We're on our way to the field where we are going to be combining some corn. So Ethan is on the way to the field. I'm following him. He has the combine. Actually, I'm following Kevin, who has the semi. We're gonna head to the field and start combining some corn. Hold on. I don't know what the moisture is of this corn. It's probably around 19 to 20 is my guess, if I had to guess, but we're about to find out. So I'll show you the whole setup we have. It will probably need to be dried, and we have a grain dryer and the grain bins and all that, and I'll show that all to you guys in this video, so stay tuned. So this is the field that we're doing today. See how far we get. We did get some rain, so we aren't nearly as dry as we were, but it's not enough to make a lot of mud where we can't run. So hi.
So today we can get the combine for a little bit. We have a combine that we borrow or use, however you want to say it, and that's far enough, babe. And so we're coming over. We're gonna try and get a couple loads off today, and yeah, we're gonna see the moisture of it. So get a couple loads done, see where it's at, and then we'll go from there.
Good morning once again. The sun is just starting to come up, and I'm about ready to go in the house. Got my chores done. We got a little baby born last night. Hello, little girl. We'll have to get her some milk from her mom and feed her her second bottle. We fed her last night. So today Kevin and I are taking a little bit of a road trip to the middle of Michigan. So if you look at the mitten of your hand, like I showed you, we're kind of in the middle towards Lansing. And that's because we bought a natural gas heater for the new workshop on an auction, an online auction, and so we had to pick it up today. Today was pickup time. Today was 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. so there's a little just a little time frame for us to pick it up. But Sanders, we left a little bit early this morning, didn't finish milking. Kevin milked about half the cows, and then Sanders finished up, and so that we could leave and get here in time. But yeah, so yeah, we're finally here. It is, what time is it? Oh, we made it here in time. It's 11:30, so we're here in plenty of time. We're gonna pick it up. We actually bought two of them because they had two natural gas furnaces, which is what we use. We have natural gas here on the farm, and one is just gonna be a backup. We use one in the parlor. We're gonna put one in the new shop, and we'll just have one for backup because they went really reasonably. So as I pass the time, I'm crocheting. So these here, hold on, let me show you. So I am crocheting little dishcloths. I have a whole bunch of them actually that I finished, and these are dishcloths that I'm hoping to sell at our craft sale. Oh,
I'm back.
You're back.
So we're at a concession consignment sale, picking stuff up.
Yeah, I already told them.
Good.
I'm hoping to sell these at the craft sale or the bake sale. It's a kind of a craft sale, but I'm gonna have baked goods there. So I'm making fall different. So I'm crocheting. These are dishcloths. I'm crocheting different fall colors. I'm also thinking about doing a few Christmas colored ones too. Although this little blue one isn't fall or Christmas, it's just cute. So that's what I'm working at as I pass the time riding all the way here. They gonna load us? Oh, there they are.
Yeah, they're there.
Okay, these we bought without looking at them, so
we'll
see how they are.
see how they
Here
are.
one, we already have one of those. That's one we use that in the milking parlor,
Yeah.
and so
So the other one, that brand is an LB White, which I'm not as familiar with. So they said they both work and they look like they were in decent shape. So we got them. Basically, we'll see. We'll get them home, try them out, and that because I'd like to have one for the workshop and then a spare for the barn. So because we've had a couple issues in the past with one for the barn. So
all right, let's load them up.
load 'em up.
You probably need me for that, don't you?
Well, if you want to get under that end.
All right, hold on.
They're not really
Yeah, I hope so. There was a mouse in this one.
Yeah.
We do not need a mouse in the car. That would be awful. Oof. I may have let out a little scream. Hopefully that's the only one.
Yeah.
Now I'm concerned because where there's one, there's always more. Ooh.
You see another one?
No, but that grosses me out. No.
Alright. Well, if he crawls up on your shoulder.
That'll be funny. He did crawl out. That's got to be pushed in.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, he ran down out there, so I think we'll be okay. I have no idea.
We'll find out.
So we're all loaded. They both fit in the back of the Excursion, which is fine, and we figured they would.
Remember that. I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay. And now we gotta travel all the way home. But there was an Amish store that we passed on the way here, so we may stop there, see if they have any good deals.
Hey.
These are the heaters that we purchased. We brought them home, plugged them in. What's the story?
And what's the story? So both of them had mouse nest in them.
Hopefully there's none in the car.
So when we loaded one, yeah, a mouse ran out. And when we loaded in the back of our SUV, yeah, he kind of went out the door and down. So Rhonda's a little fearful of the four-legged small creatures.
Well, not fearful.
Yeah, you kind of are.
I just don't care for them
Being
in the
around.
house or by me. Yeah.
So one of them was a Purifier heater, 225,000 BTU. In the advertisement on the auction, the owner stated, it was a consignment sale, the owner stated that they were functioning. So we brought this one home, and along with an LB White, but we brought this one home, plugged it in, and the fan wouldn't roll over. So we got the fan spinning. It spins a little rough, and so we're maybe gonna have to lubricate the bearings up on it, or that sense.
Can you replace the bearings?
I don't know on these types. If
I'm sure.
probably can.
That's how much
So
we're gonna do.
we plugged it in, got the fan rolling. It seems to go through the the flame, the wind speed switch here, which is right there,
Okay.
and that kicks the valve on. So that all seems to work. I mean, it functions. We haven't plugged it into a gas line yet, this one, so we haven't. But this one's a 225. So the other one we bought is over here on the. And this one is the nicer of the two. It's an LB White Guardian.
The previous owner had made makeshift a hood
Right
for
here.
it,
Oh yeah.
So he had a makeshift hood.
so it made a lot of rust.
So it kind of blew hot heat out, all these, and then it melted, kind of stained the paint.
Oh, the hood did?
Yeah.
It was galvanized.
So he made a hood on it that blew the air, hot air to the ground.
Supposedly,
kinda.
yeah.
Yeah, supposedly. So we got this one home, we plugged her in, and it fired right up and shut off. Fired up, or I mean it ran and shut off.
So it's for propane. We put a conversion kit in it, but when we ran it off a propane tank, and the propane tank didn't have a big enough regulator.
So we first ran it off propane.
Yeah.
Make sure everything worked, and then we went to put a natural gas conversion kit in it.
Okay.
So now this one it seems to run fine. Everything works on it. It's 250,000 BTU, so it's a little bigger than the other one. So this one we think we'll probably put in the shop because it's a little bigger. And
I'm painting it to try to match.
so yeah,
I'm painting it to try to match.
Uh-oh.
so Sydney's painted up
And to cover up the rust on the front.
So I mean,
I ground it out.
So are you guys gonna put something here?
At the moment, it's one of them things where.
It's one of those, we'll try it?
Yeah.
Oh, see.
Well, we're planning on putting fans in the shop, and I want to have them run when the heat runs. So
Pushes the heat down.
Yeah, so it takes. So ceiling fans, I recommend anybody to have them, especially in the winter, because I mean it just saves so much on heat because it keeps everything so much more evenly consistent. So, but yeah, we're gonna get it. Sydney's been putting a nice coat of paint on it, and this one was pretty nice compared to the other one anyway, and so we'll make it happen.
Awesome. There's your story.
So there's the story on it. The heaters.
7 years ago.
So here's an update on the workshop. We've got another area ready for concrete to be poured. We did pour one load of concrete this week. I think we're over halfway done with it. 3 more pours inside, and we got outside pours. We did a little bit outside, but this was mainly
Yeah, outside's the makeup, so all the extra goes out.
extra goes outside.
3, I think it's technically 4 by the time we.
4, oh, we gotta pour in here,
Yeah.
and then 3 more runs. Of how long, wide is this? 10 foot? 10-foot sections is what we can handle easily. So
Anything over that's hard.
yeah. So now the guys are working on putting up these doors. These are existing doors. If you remember in my earlier video, we took part of this garage off, and they had 2 garage doors, and so these are a 10 by 12 foot door, and we oversized the doors because the openings.
Yeah, so that's why there's a gap, because we didn't know where the floor exactly was going to lie, so we've got like a 4-inch gap up there. That's why you see light.
Yeah, so they still gotta.
We got to trim all that in front seals on the outside yet, but we're trying something new. The original track came up and then did the usual immediate turn, which took up about 12 feet of space, and being
Ceiling space.
Yeah, stick out about 12 feet. And being how far down these doors would be, we've got quite a bit of headroom there that we would have had to have made up.
You'd lose.
Yeah.
So if you had a big piece of equipment, it would only be 10 foot here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do, Dad and I have been arguing back and forth about.
It was not arguing, it's
debating.
conversing.
Heavily discussing. We want to do a high lift conversion, so take the same track. I'm chopping 8 feet off of this track, and I'm gonna take it and move it up top. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm working on mounting it.
So you can see that it goes up quite a bit higher. How high up then? You want it 8 foot
8 foot
above?
Up. It's like 7.5 above the door. And then it'll turn and should do about a 3 foot out.
So you're not losing
Yeah.
quite so much. Not losing quite so much
And
up
then
here.
we'll have to do a wall-mounted garage door opener there, but no.
So then you had to figure out spring size because you can't use the original springs.
Well, Dad thinks we can.
Yeah,
so.
this is where the debate is. Can you use the same size spring,
And-
bring in
and
and up,
pulleys
and all that?
Dad
It's
would rather
sometimes
do it
fun.
3 times,
Yeah,
even
Dad-
though the math says it doesn't work.
Sometimes Kevin likes to try it to learn. That way he can say that didn't work. Instead of just taking somebody else's word for it, he likes to actually.
My argument is right now the door weighs almost 300 pounds. As it goes up, less weight is on the springs to hold the door up. But now, when the door's all the way up, we need about 185 pounds of the door to be supported yet, with it wide open.
And the springs that you have can't support that.
Dad thinks they can.
But we know they can't. The math ain't.
The math don't add up.
The math
Dad
don't
thinks
add
they can.
Oh, speaking of.
Yeah, I have my ideas.
He
so-
does have his ideas.
And
but
they
you
work.
can only tighten springs so much.
And they work so far.
Most of the
Or you
time,
do it again.
most of the time it has to be redone.
Most
Correctly.
Of the time. Well, that's kind of. So all you viewers out there,
Oh boy.
You can tell us now.
Yeah, okay.
how many times do you, my wife says I should do it right the first time and never ever have to do it twice or 3 times. So leave in the comments how many projects you guys have done and gotten it right the first time.
Does anybody have any 4-inch by 36-inch springs knocking around that they want to donate?
No.
So it is true. He tends to do a project and then it needs to be done again and maybe a 3rd time.
Oh.
And
Not every time.
it's the majority
Oh, okay.
of the time.
on
So
the project.
Sydney's
Depends
been
on the
doing
project.
Sydney's been doing the research, the math, the calculating, trying to figure out these overhead doors. And he says that we need a stronger spring.
Well, you just gotta, they recommend
different
a
pulleys.
And different
stronger
pulleys.
spring and a different type of pulley. So,
But you say it doesn't need. We can use
I-
what we have.
I say I think we can make work what we have. We may have to make some adjustments.
I don't think we can.
So Sydney don't think we can. I think we can.
So maybe we do one of each door.
I'm not doing 2 doors until we know
That's
one
why,
works.
That's why we're doing one door, and we're gonna see if what.
There's no way.
So are we doing Dad's way first?
See, we don't
He can do
know.
the work.
We don't know. Sydney's gonna get it up, and we're gonna kind of get the structure, the railing, to get the top line on, and we'll
Take it back.
see what happens.
The high lift setups run a tape, like this pulley here is not tapered. It's pretty much, you got your first coils a little bit bigger, but then it's flat all the way across. Well, a high lift or a vertical lift run a completely tapered cone
They run a
to
cone type
offset the tension of, as the spring unwinds, it gets weaker. So they offset the tension of the spring that way, but that don't do that.
So we're gonna experiment.
So
with,
I need to hold 185 pounds in the air
Yeah.
when this is doing nothing.
so we're gonna experiment a little bit.
How are you going to experiment in making that work then?
I don't know. You're
Oh.
gonna have to come along for the ride because until it actually gets
Look
up,
at Sydney's
I know.
face.
Me and Sydney
We do a
differ on.
Sydney, you're not getting gray hair yet. Oh goodness.
Sydney and I differ on some ideas on stuff, and sometimes his works, sometimes mine works. So
Stay tuned.
stay tuned.
We'll see whose idea
The comment
works.
section should be interesting.
Yes. So if you have experience with doors that go higher,
High lift.
they're called high lift?
Yeah, they're
Okay, if you have experience with high lift doors
or a vertical track.
or vertical track, leave it in the comments below what we should do.
Oh boy.
Oh,
and-
you're gonna get a lot of comments.
I may get a lot of
I know
comments.
what we should do.
Dad don't want
What
to
do
spend
you
it,
think
but-
we should do?
Well, I want to try my ideas first. So.
We wait and see. Good morning. It's another very beautiful, calm morning. The sun hasn't come up just yet, but if you can see, the moon is beautiful. This morning, we got frost, so I don't know if you can see in the patchy areas that there's some frost on the ground. The grass has some frost in it. My flowers might be down here. They're starting to look kind of sad anyways. And yeah, you can see that they're frosted. So I was just kind of holding off to save some of these seeds. That one's nicely frosted. So we've been combining some corn this week and putting it in our grain bins. Our corn has averaged about 14% moisture. We have been running it through the dryer because Kevin does find a few kernels that are a little bit more moist than the other ones. So we're still running it through the grain dryer to make sure that all the moisture is out. We do not want to store corn that gets warm and molds inside the grain bin. That makes for a big mess. But we're also purchasing some shelled corn from the neighbor, and they're bringing it up to us, and they're bringing it to us in wagons. So Sydney's getting ready, and he's gonna start unloading. Their corn's a little bit wetter, so that too is going through the grain dryer. This morning we're gonna unload some, start the grain dryer, and get the whole process going again. We'll be combining this afternoon, so I'll bring you along.
Hola.
Good morning.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, what are you gonna do?
Our neighbor dropped off 4 wagons of corn for us. We share this granary with my uncle, one of Dad's brothers, on what we store in here, but they wanted to haul their corn somewhere, so we're gonna take it and dry it and put it in one of the bins. So I've got 4 on wagons to unload. We weighed them, or we're weighing them, and then I'm gonna just dump them all in our wet bin up here.
That's the wet bin.
And then after I get them all in, we'll run the dryer. But otherwise, it'll have them done before I'm done unloading them.
Yeah. Come through here. We gotta make sure we're putting it in the right area.
I need to relabel these. Need the wet bin. Yes. A piece of tape means it's the wet bin.
Yes. Maybe I could bring a marker out sometime
I've
and
got
relabel.
one in there.
Oh.
I got it.
Look at all the bees' wings.
Yes.
Lots of bees' wings
We'll
flying
stick them
everywhere.
in a box and mail them to you.
We'll mail them to you. Cost
Misery.
more with a stamp.
Misery.
Okay, what'd you just do?
There's our leg power, so I just kicked that on, and then the pit is the auger for
That brings
pit.
it to the
Yep.
pit, or
Out
to
the pit to the leg.
to the leg. The corn yield this year is really high, and a lot of the co-ops and grain mills around us they're running out of room, so they're denying people to bring their corn to them until they make more room. We have a little bit of room available, but not a whole lot. So now this corn is traveling through the auger, through this auger, and it's going up into the wet bin.
The elevator has cups in it, like, they're yay big, that ride on a belt. So it carries it up via cup, well,
All the way to the top.
yeah, like
All the way to the top.
and then it actually just takes and dumps it over a lift, which then drops it down the pipe. Well, into that bin and selector, so you pick what pipe you want it to go to, and then it just dumps it into it. Ingenious setup. It works good though.
Well, it looks like we got a little lawnmower out. I don't know what she's doing. She's just helping herself out to the grass. What are you doing? Cows are out to pasture. She thought she needed to be. She doesn't belong over here anyway. She belongs with the younger heifers. Somebody's gonna have to put her back in. I don't think she'll go in here. The fence is hot. But I got some more wood chips. I know somebody that works for the county, the road, trimming trees alongside roads and stuff, and they brought me a couple loads of wood chips yesterday, I guess. I got a whole bunch of them earlier this spring. I've just been kind of letting them dry out, and I use them in the walkways and paths in my garden, and works really good. And so hopefully all winter long these will start breaking down, and I'll be able to use them again in the garden next year. Oh, you've had your face in here. She's got wood chips all over her nose. So we've got more corn coming in, and we're gonna put some more into the wet bin. And Kevin's here to unload it now, and he's gonna tell you a little bit about the wet bin and how hot it gets when it dries, and how long it takes and cools and all the good stuff.
I am?
Yeah.
That's exciting. Vast knowledge I have. So the wet bin that's above the dryer here is a gravity feed. But I believe it holds 1,800 bushel, I think, if I remember right. So this dryer is a continuous batch dryer. That means it takes one batch of corn, which is about 120 bushel. It heats it up. 142 is the cutout on the heat on it.
142 degrees Fahrenheit.
So it heats it up we program it by the moisture content of the corn as to how long it actually heats. And like this corn here that's coming in is about 20%. So it'll run approximately 20 minutes. We said we have a timer on it. So that in that 20 minutes, it'll knock out 6-7 points of moisture out of the corn. And then, so the timer shuts off the burner, and then it kicks over to basically with the burner off, then it cools it. So we have it, right now we're cooling, we're doing half of the cooling here and half in the bins. So it drops the temperature back down, I mean, probably 30 or 40 degrees, and then the rest in the bins.
So that's why the noisy fans in the bins.
Yeah, so that way we can, kind of push more corn through it quicker. So,
Keep it going.
Yeah, and I know it does a decent amount a day. So 'cause some of you guys run continuous flow dryers, which you got a burner on top and a fan cooling on the bottom, so that way you can get a lot more volume through. But we went with a smaller setup, and that way for what we do, it works. So, because we always have chores to do anyway, it's not like we can combine all day.
Yeah.
And keep running. So then, what else is there?
How much does one of these bins hold?
So our bin set up here, we have 3 of them that hold approximately 10,000, maybe a little over, and then 2 that hold about 6.
6,000 bushel bins and 10,000 bushel bins.
And so yeah, that's what our bin capacity is. And I think the grain leg is 90.
And so this is all run by natural gas.
Yep. Yeah, we
And somebody's gonna ask, how much does it cost to dry it per point or something like that?
So the kind of going rate in this area is 5 cents per point. So if it's corn is 20%, you dry it to 15, that is 25 cents a bushel. Kind of gives you an idea. Cost wise, for us, it's a little cheaper than that to run. I mean, it's the electric, I think, is 2 couples. I can't remember the exact number,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a lot cheaper to dry your own corn than to have the mill do it, because mills make pretty good money off drying. That's why my dad invested in a dryer and bins. So, because mills charge storage fees and all that other stuff, in and out fees. So I mean, it adds up. So.
And how long will the corn last? How long can it stay good and fresh inside a bin?
Well, how long as it's dried down? We pull the corn down to 14 is our goal, and it'll stay there good. But there again, it's good to have. It's good to have a year's. I mean, corn will go a year decently, but you start getting 2, 3, 4-year-old corn, it starts really losing nutritional value to it, because it's just the aspect of deterioration and everything else. So that's why we like to keep the turnover. I mean, keep it fresh.
Yeah. So about a year. We like to keep it not much longer than a year.
Yeah, because it's always good to have fresh
feed.
It's just like
anything we eat.
Yeah, anything we eat too. You start getting stuff that's real old, it loses nutritional value. So, I don't know how big a burner this is. I can't remember if it's 1.5 million BTU.
The leg?
So I just turned the leg on, because all our controls are here, and the dryer controls are actually in that panel right there.
The dryer.
So we're gonna unload these wagons into the wet bin, and then we'll start the dryer.